words, and then I whipped out my list, and
Okay.
it's good. It's very good. Oh, are we live?
Mm-hmm.
We are
heard. We are heard, but not seen.
Do you all want to hear about my favorite words list?
Yep, a whole 10 minutes. A whole 10 minutes early. Yes,
A whole
yes,
10
we are.
minutes.
Whole 10 minutes. So we have time for y'all to come in, get yourself situated. We're gonna hear about Rachel's favorite words list.
It's a very good list.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. The question is, I'm gonna just start with a couple of my favorites, and then we'll see if you want me to just list all of them.
All right, go ahead.
Persnickety.
That's a great word.
That's a great word. I gotta get something that isn't a P because I just did a P. We have lascivious.
Ooh.
Twaddle.
Twaddle?
Twaddle.
What does it mean to twaddle?
I will tell you exactly the definition of twaddle.
It's your favorite word and you don't know what it means?
Well, I know what I know. It's one of those things of like, I can use it in a sentence. I cannot exactly explain to you.
Hi, Amanda.
The exact definition is trivial or foolish speech or writing nonsense.
Very well.
Cantankerous.
That's a great word. I use that word a lot.
It's a very good word.
Mm-hmm.
Mellifluous.
Ooh, that sounds like a $10 word.
It is. When I first wrote it, I also have Maleficent on there because I like good in words.
Kitty!
Oh, cat. Oh, wow. Would you look at her? There she is.
Magnificent beast.
Mm-hmm. Ostentatious. Resplendent. Vernacular.
Ooh, that's a good one. I have some of my own favorite words.
Oh, please do share.
One of my favorite ones, and I might trigger some people with this one. Behoove. It would behoove you.
I'm writing that down right now.
It would behoove
That's a good
you.
word. Behoove.
It would behoove you.
I have beguiled on here, following that kind of line of the bees.
Discombobulated.
We should just do a whole LMA on our favorite words. We're doing it right now.
We are. Well, this is the pre-LMA, right? This is the
mini LMA.
The reason we're doing this, folks, is because John would love that. Is because we're about to say a bunch of words, probably wrong, because none of us can actually speak Elvish or Undercommon, or I'm convinced that what happened was writers at Wizards of the Coast loaded letters into a shotgun, fired it at a wall, and that's how they named some things. Not gonna lie.
Menzoberranzan. I got it,
Thomas. How do you say it?
Menzoberranzan?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, I practiced. What is it?
Menzoberranzan.
No way.
Yep. Menzoberranzan.
We have to do a poll right now.
To be fair, in Baldur's Gate 3 pronounced how she said it. That is correct, but it was pronounced by a bunch of British people, and the word was created by an American. So I mean, there's that.
You have a surprise for us a little later.
Oh wait,
you're teasing us with a surprise?
Don't tease us with a Don't tease me. Why are you teasing me? You seen the surprise? What is this? What is this?
You seen the surprise? What is? Oh, you guys.
What's he doing? Wait. Hang on. Okay, here's the real question. Biggie, is the surprise related to LMA or is it related to other things? Because that is a factor. No. Other things. It's related to
I have an idea.
Oh, do you?
I have an idea. I do.
I do.
I
Okay.
believe it is Boston related.
Ooh, Boston related. Boston.
Boston. Very
Very
good.
Boston.
Which
Ah.
I will be
Purina
getting
One,
those notes typed up as
reflexed
soon
and
as my
wow,
midterms
Why?
are
Why am I
kicking
getting
my
ads?
ass.
I shouldn't be getting ads. I don't want to hear ads. Screw you. All right.
Kurt, you've seen my surprise?
Oh yeah, I've seen that surprise from Amanda. I've seen that. I saw that earlier today.
Oh, I want to see it. Why do I have to wait till Sunday?
Do
This
you
is so
want a
unfair.
hint? I don't know. Well, I mean, Amanda might kill me if I give you a hint.
Here's the thing. Manda has already asked me some questions about the thing. And so
No,
I
no
have an
hints?
idea as to what it might
Okay.
be about.
What do you think it's about?
It's about my darling boy, my little Finn, my little Finley lad, my little Finley man.
You realize by the end of that campaign, Finley is not going to be Finley, right?
What do you mean?
He's
you keep
gonna
saying
be...
that something's gonna be terrible with Finley, and I don't believe it. I can't.
Finley's gonna end
my
up...
sweet little lad.
Finley's gonna be like your pate. Hello?
I hope so!
Oh no! You got this little dead rat with like a skull on his head? Oh no. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Can't...
gosh. I really need to catch up on Critical
Finley!
Role.
Didn't you see where she went? I don't have eyes. Oh, well...
He's not the BBEG. We know who the BBEG is now, due to
Oh, yeah?
the last session.
Who do you believe it is?
I don't like the way you said believe it is. I think I know that it is
Mm-hmm, go ahead.
the Willow Man. He who goes by many names, and his daughter, who we're not supposed to kill with the dagger. But how we have a suspicion is Dahlia's mother, and that is said with quotes. You guys cannot see it, but I did do it with the quotes.
Yeah.
And also Von Poppin, because fuck that guy. And also, on top of that, Tom Sorrow. I'm not supposed to be cussing. Oh no. It's LMA. I'm supposed to... Oh, wait, you know what? It's fine.
Technically, they can't
John's not
see your
here.
face. So...
Oh yeah, it wasn't me. It was my twin.
Your perfect guise of innocence will be maintained. Y'all, I'm here to tell you, I know better now. I know better.
It is not a guise of innocence. It is simply that I'm not supposed to cuss on this stream.
You say that.
I did. I have sworn a couple of times. A good few on stream.
Oh yeah, yeah. I believe you will like announce it.
If you come to Boston on Thursdays this week, it's going to be on a Friday because of scheduling things. But if you come, I will be swearing. If that is what you want, a lot. I am a sailor.
She gets downright randy.
Got killed.
Hey Jay, welcome on in.
Hello.
All right, we are gonna go over to being, as how does he say it, seen and heard. So brace your eye holes and lube up your ear holes for a whole lot of info. Let's go. Hi everybody.
Just drop something. Hi.
Of course.
I'm gonna pop down.
Once again.
I dropped something.
Yeah. Once again, as you can tell, we are unsupervised.
Which means this is gonna go great.
This is gonna go amazingly. Underdark, let's go. Yep, that's what we're talking about, friends. We'll get there. We are unsupervised, unrestrained, uncollared, and ready to take on the night. So, that being said, welcome everybody to the next installment of Lore Masters Arcanum, where the apprentices have kicked the wizard out and are once again taking over the wizard's tower. There's going to be all sorts of scrying going on. Yeah, so I hope you're wearing pants. Just saying. Anyway. Well, okay. So, yes, technically we have Manda supervising, but Manda's doing the, 1985 babysitter thing, where she's going to go in the other room and watch TV or talk on the phone, and she'll pop in here if there's a loud bang, because we're dealing with creepy, crawly, super scary skeletons, and those are not things that Manda likes. So that
Rightfully
being
so.
said, if you're here, be on your best behavior, because she's just gonna come. Because if I have to message her and be like, "Hey, somebody's acting a fool," she's not gonna come in and be happy about it, because she knows that there's spooky, scary skeletons and creepy crawly things that are going on in this stream, and I cannot be held responsible for her actions. That's your one and only warning. Anyway, the perils of the Underdark. Haha. Well, Biggie's here too. That's right. Oh, that's right. Biggie's here, so he can also enact revenge. He'll enact violence. But anyway, here we go. Friends, countrymen, Underdarks, and Dark Drow. Here we go. Lend me your ears. We are talking about this evening, our next in our deep dive series, The Underdark. Dun dun dun. The Underdark. It is creepy. It's crawly. There's no sunshine, so that's how you know she's gone. But here we go. The Underdark. Some of our favorite characters have come from the Underdark. One comes to mind, Dritz Duorden. You know, the Drow Ranger that we all idolized. It started with the Crystal Shard, and now here he is running around with Jarlaxle and all the other miscreants of Waterdeep. But it's all good. The Underdark is more than just the Drow. And that's part of what we're going to get into this evening. So, first and foremost, friends. Yep. Yeah.
What is the Underdark?
What is the Underdark? The Underdark is the world beneath. So, because in their infinite wisdom of creating Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot, right? They have worlds within worlds. This world being the Underdark. It is an entire world, an entire civilization, actually multiple civilizations that live under our very feet. There are cities, there are monsters, there are different types of people from all walks of life who are all down there, who are all wanting to eat you. We'll just go with that. Everything from undead empires to the Drow to my personal favorite, the Duragar, to the misunderstood deep gnomes to giant dragons.
The Svirfneblin.
What's that?
The Svirfneblin.
The Svirfneblin. The deep
the
gnomes.
best named creatures.
I mean, that's a mouthful. But we're gonna dig into it, friends. We're gonna dig into it. As per usual, we're going to be wild and crazy guys. So strap in. It's going to be interesting. First and foremost, let's get the first question out of the way. Because I actually was prepared for this. I actually went, hey, let's have stuff, right? The Underdark. So, to understand what the Underdark is. The Underdark is essentially a giant series of cave networks and caverns underneath your very feet, right? There is no sunlight. Emphasis on that. There is no sunlight in the Underdark. What you and I would walk on is known as the world above. And then there's the world below, or the world below, right, is essentially hell, Avernus. So below us is the Underdark. In the Underdark, you have entire populations of people who have never seen the sun, or the stars for that matter. And it's said that may lead to part of their cold and callous dispositions regarding some things here and there. And we're going to dive into that. So, how do they see down there? Well, as you can imagine, the majority of things in the Underdark have either low light vision or dark vision, or what do they call it now? It's like some sort of thermal vision.
That's a thing. I don't
Yeah. No. I can't remember if it's Pathfinder or one of the other 5e offshoots or whatnot. They changed it to where there's like a third type of vision now. Like you have low light vision, which works like night vision goggles, where it takes what little ambient light that's there and amplifies it greatly in your eyeball, right? Then you have dark vision, which allows you to see in total darkness, right? And how infravision, that's what it's called. Thank you, Pathfinder. Yes, Pathfinder has infravision, and it's kind of like pseudo heat vision. It's neat. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. Yeah. Low light is colorless. So nice. Infra has color. Yep. So like you have like pseudo predator vision. So that's like kind of cool.
Sick.
Right?
That is kind of cool. That's kind of neat.
And then there's dark vision, which everything is seen in hues of gray, right? Though there has been debate about whether or not you should have depth perception when it comes to that stuff, because it's just series of gray and dark vision, from my understanding.
That doesn't stop depth perception.
What's that?
I said that shouldn't stop depth perception.
I would think it would.
Just
because there's not a whole lot of contrast.
Well, but there's a specific part of your brain that handles depth perception.
Oh, I thought it all had to do with your eyeballs.
I mean, it goes through the eyeballs, yes, but I know this only because of my sense of perception class. Thank you, Dr.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, because there are people that
don't have eyes is depth, not color. There you go. That's what it is. Yep.
Yes.
But a lot of the people down in the Underdark have these. Also, with that, it's an interesting twist about things in the Underdark. What we view, most things that don't have sunlight are often seen in our world as pale, right? Lacking color. However, because the Underdark is such a very treacherous and dangerous place, almost everything down there has developed a sense of natural camouflage. Almost every sentient race that is down in the Underdark has a purple, gray, or black hued skin. And I don't mean, when I say black, I don't mean like brown, like our African American friends, right? I mean black as in obsidian, right? Like absence of light, like black, right? Which allows them to blend into their surroundings and take advantage of that, because everything's about sneaking and peeking and all that stuff.
There's also, going off of how things can see, a lot of bioluminescent mushrooms and fungi, and there's also a fun thing called glowstone, which is a rock that provides dim light within 30 feet. But on the flip side, there's also a thing called dark rock, which absorbs light and makes torches and other light things way less effective.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fun.
Minecraft? I mean,
Minecraft,
sort of. Yeah. It could be said that they got some ideas from there, I think. I think it could be said for that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, for me personally, that's one of the coolest things about it, is the fact that bioluminescent fungi, he's a fun guy, and algae type stuff lights up, as well as there are just certain crystals and certain rock that gives off a glow, right? Which is super interesting to me. I personally think that is awesome. I think it's cool because not only does it mean that you get to play in shadows, every rogue loves it in the Underdark because they can hop from shadow to shadow to shadow to shadow. Sneak attack.
Oh my god, shadow monks.
Oh yeah, right. Shadow sorcerers, shadow monks, shadow all that stuff.
All the shadows. Something that we have yet to bring up is that there are 3 layers to the Underdark. There is they're so cleverly named, you guys. It's the upper dark, the middle dark, and guess the lower dark. Oh, who would have thunk it? Who would have thought? There's a lot of different creepy crawlies that live there, though. Especially the lower dark. They're really scary. It's just a lot of apparitions.
It is. It's really bad.
There's Aboleths, there's Beholders, there's Illithid, there's Darrow, there's just a lot of... There's Cloakers. It's bad down there. You don't want to go down there. Because there's not a lot of food or water, so it's just whatever can kill the other thing to eat is what it is.
It's great. I love it.
So good.
I love that because what you're saying, right? The three layers. It's interesting how that's changed.
Really?
Yes, because the first layer, right, according to my sources, right,
Oh, okay.
yeah, was known as the shallows. Then the next one was known as, um, uh, the next one was known as the proper Underdark, right,
Okay.
and then the one below that was known as the Deep Dark.
Those are way cooler names.
Because
I
like
like
the
this.
way that it was
Canon.
described is like the shallows are how you get into the Underdark. So like
Mm-hmm.
all of our Baldur's Gate 3 friends, right, where you like where you're, you know what, at this point I don't care about spoilers. If you haven't played it, then I feel
Cover
bad
your
for you.
ears. Cover
Cover your
your
ears.
ears.
That little section of the Underdark that you get into in the village, right, behind the blacksmith shop or whatnot, right, where you can get down there, that would be the shallows. That's as high up as most Underdark people would come, right? Then you've got the proper Underdark, which we all know what it is, and then the Deep Dark is that stuff that you're talking about, where like quite literally it's a whole. I hope you don't breathe loud because the thing next to you is going to eat you if you do.
Mm-hmm.
How do they all get along? Well, I mean, we're
They
actually going to cover that.
don't.
Well, they do
Some
and
some do.
they do and they don't. So everything. Okay, so this is something I have learned about. Oop,
Oh,
hang on.
please enlighten.
I'm going to use some big college words here, apparently.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. I'm getting ready to add
So,
them to my list.
so for those of you tuning in and those of you who are scholars, and I don't mean of the Roman kind, um, uh, the Underdark is very much a low trust society. That being that only those directly around them, for the most part, their family, their close friends, those that they grew up with and live around, are essentially the only ones that they can really trust. Now, you're gonna say, however, no. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing, and I'm gonna get to the. I'm gonna get to the Sunless Sea. Don't worry. Um, uh, However, you're gonna the first thing people are gonna say, but drow kill each other all the time. You're right, they do, but that's
We kill
because
each other all the
that's
time.
how their individual society is set up. But the drow will set aside those particular differences to fight a Duragar raid or a Deep Gnome raid or something along those
Surfing that
lines.
blend.
I I cannot say that every time.
I'm just gonna keep saying it every time you say deep gnomes because that's I get excited about it.
Um, so like that is one of the things. So like the different factions, the different races down there don't necessarily trust one another, but they will for mutual benefit, right? It's a whole lot of uneasy alliances, i.e., oh crap, there's a purple worm that's coming through and killing half of our town and your town. Okay, well we'll kind of come together and kill the purple worm, but once the purple worm's dead, all bets are off. Like, we're not risking that one. Just to give you an idea of like how they work. Now, the civilizations down there are amazing. I don't think I have a. Maybe I do. Let me double check. Nope, not that one. We'll go back to this. We'll go to this one.
Oh.
Everything is um it's not hewn. That's not the word I'm looking for. When that's shaped from. Everything's shaped of stone and the rock around it. Everything. Whereas what we would normally picture, you know, a lot of times, like dwarven societies, how they'll take a side of a mountain and then they'll turn it into their city or whatnot, but it's still within the mountain. That's how things are here for the most part. Only the coolest thing that I think is neat about the Drow society when it comes to the Underdark, right, is they build up from the stalagmites come from the ground, right?
Yes.
And then they build down on the stalactites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where your house is at, if it's hanging, it has a higher social status than it does if it's on the ground coming up.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
I didn't think about that.
I thought that was one of the coolest things ever when I was doing a little bit of research, because I was like, okay, they all just kind of live wherever, right? Fit in where you can get in, right? But no. If your house is elevated in some way, shape, or form, they essentially go up into like the hanging area because they look down on their lessers. The lessers will always have to look up to them. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Incredible.
That's cool.
To answer your question, Namkanator?
Why would anyone want to live in the Underdark with it being a well-known
lot of
low
races don't have a choice.
That is a fact. Yeah.
Because a lot of them can't, like Drow, for example, within the rules, they have sunlight, um, aversion. There's a different word that I'm looking
sensitivity.
For.
They do. They have sensitivity.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
they have sensitivity to it.
And so it would be quite difficult for them to live above ground. It is possible, but it tends to be not necessarily easier to live under, but their eyes and bodies are made to be underground.
Another factor is a lot of the leaders are tyrannical, right? You belong to them, you work for them, you are their subjects, they are your leaders, kind of thing, right? And you do not go against it. There is a solid level of this is where you are. Not to mention, so another factor is which will come up, why don't they just run away, right? They could just run away. Well, the Drizzt Do'Urden series actually really addresses that really, really well when talking about him going to get out of the Underdark. First off, if you don't know the way out, it's very easy to get lost in all of the tunnels, right? That is no joke. So many. The other factor is that once you leave those walls of that city, you have no protection but your own. Like, everything outside of those walls wants to kill you and eat your eyes for jujubes. Like, there's no question about that whatsoever. So a lot of it comes down to they just don't have the skills to be able to survive outside of the city walls, because all of your best fighters are house guards or they're part of their militaries, right, that they have. All of your best rogues are assassins within the cities, so they're more than likely they're making a cush living. Why would they ever leave, right? One of the only drow known to frequent between the two is Jarlaxle, right, from the Forgotten Realms. I'm not too sure about Greyhawk, but I know in Forgotten Realms, Jarlaxle is the only one that is known to frequent between Waterdeep and the Underdark, and that's because he's able to utilize the Yarning Pool to be able to get down there and back, and he knows the route by heart. Most drow don't. Those that do leave escape, and they're never going to come back, much less to get other people, because they know that once they come back, they're going to they'll be hunted down, they'll be killed, they'll be executed, what have you. Looking at the other races that are down there, right? Deep gnomes can come up from the Underdark. Go ahead, say it.
Surf Nevlin.
There you go. Right?
Thank you.
It's not impossible to enter the Underdark. That's the thing. It's not impossible to get down there. 9 times out of 10, it's way more impossible to get out. Yeah, the getting out's the hard part. The getting in's not hard. It's the getting out part that's the hard part.
I am honestly very surprised when I was doing a lot of the research that there aren't more like sinkholes on the surface.
Oh yeah, that is one thing that is kind of unique, is that the about the Underdark is that it's not, you can't just like dig a hole and bam, you're there, right? Because the Underdark is a series of caves and tunnels. It's not like this giant vastness, with the exception of a few areas, right? There are a few areas that are kind of vast, right? And the theory is that the Underdark is actually a bunch of pocket areas, but thanks to the purple worm I stand by this theory because I believe it.
Mm.
The reason that
We
the
have
different areas are connected is because purple worms down in the Underdark move underground, and they've essentially bored the tunnels that many people use in the Underdark to get around.
we have differing theories on this solely because, to
Uh
be
huh.
fair, the fourth edition Forgotten Realms lore has been not everyone's favorite in some cases. And obviously, take what you want, leave what you don't, as you
Mm-hmm.
should. But what I read and found was is it's this is like the deep lore of how it was all created.
Deep
In
lore.
that the deep lore, in that the Underdark was created by the Primordials, of course. Uh, but before the Dawn War occurred, the god Porig became imprisoned in the primeval Underdark, and he was searching for a primordial named Gargash. I didn't figure out why he was searching for him. He just was.
Okay.
Um, and I think it's because Gargash was torturing gods beneath the surface. But they fought. Torog won, but Gargash, with his last breath, cursed Torog to be trapped in the Underdark forever, and that his wounds could not be healed and he could never leave, essentially. So he tried to escape, but he was unable to dig up, so instead he crawled sideways and down, carving out these cavernous tunnels, expanding and connecting the Underdark. And he was powerful enough in his making of these caves that he ended up crashing into Feywild and the Shadowfell, which created the Feydark and the Shadowdark. And these passages are referred to as the King's Highway. And he became known as the god of imprisonment and torture.
Purple worms. Anyway, no.
And the last thing I will say on this is that because he was unable to heal himself, his blood coated the Underdark, which is what led to magic being set within the rocks and the stones itself, which leads me to my favorite part of the Underdark, which is the Faerzaris.
You said it right.
I did it. I did it. I'm really proud of myself. Um, I'm gonna go on a mini rant about this because I'm really excited. So, as you guys know, there's no sunlight. There's no sunlight in the Underdark, but there's lots of plants. There's lot of flora, lots of fauna. But we're not gonna talk about that. There, because there's no sunlight, plants need to gather energy from a thing called Faerzaris, which is the magical energy that permeates within the Underdark, which the theory is it's from Torok's blood. And these plants and these fungi are feed off of the magic and grow to absolutely ridiculous sizes. And Faerzaris, which is a drow word, uh, also causes magical problems with scrying and teleportation, which is why a lot of drow cities are built in areas with abundance of this Faerzaris to keep their cities secure from magical intrusion. It's plants and fungi, because they're fun guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, they also started making artifacts that harness the magical energy of these effects of not being able to be scryed on and messing up teleportation.
Interesting.
That's it.
Okay.
Fun facts.
Fun facts. All right. So, all right. Next on our little to-do list. All right. Okay. So, this next part, if Amanda's in here, I hope she's gone.
Manda, leave.
All right. So, next thing we're going to talk about when it comes to the Underdark, right? We're just going to go ahead and we're going to, really quickly, we're going to talk about the Drow.
Dun dun dun.
And the role that they play in the Underdark. So, the Drow is one of the most predominant lineages that exist inside of the Underdark. They have
They're the
most.
humans of the Underdark.
Yeah, they are the humans of the Underdark. They have more cities and more trade routes set up and established in the Underdark than any of the other races combined. They are Now, here's the thing. Everybody's going to be like, wow, drow are big and bad and evil and this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, yes, a lot of them are, but not all drow are, right? And this is one of the cool things that's very interesting to point out about them. As we all know, most drow follow Lolth, right? We all know her. We all hate her, right? The Spider Queen herself, Lolth, which sets up in a form of matriarchy, where you have the women are the ruling class, are the ruling people of it, right? And all others are viewed like men are little more than bodyguard soldiers and uses of procreation. That's about it, right? Whereas everything else is ran by the women, and it all breaks off of the idea of the female spider, right? And the female spider has her eggs, and she lays her eggs, and males are pretty much just there for procreation and food, for lack of a better term. That being said, they have a very brutal society, and but it is unique because it is hyper. You will not find anything. Excuse me. Anything more political than playing an all drow game in the Underdark. That is a fact. The level of politics that work within drow society as a whole, right, would rival that of the West Wing. I'm not even joking. Because they can't openly kill one another, right, without good cause. They're not allowed to start fights with one another. Someone else has to start a fight in order to make it happen.
Yes, tabletop.
Yeah, that's accurate, right? Essentially Game of Thrones, but elven and spidery. Yeah, that's accurate. That's a good way to put it, right? And each house has their matron mother. And the matron mother is just that, the head of the household, and she has her guards and all that stuff. And each house is vying for supremacy because Lolth will only bless the most powerful houses. That's the catch. That's the reason they're always doing it. Whether it be political maneuvering through warfare or resources, what have you, it's all to be brought up into the place of the highest level of prestige. That's the word. I'll get there. Yes. Swiss cheese for brains. Cut me some slack.
Like that.
One other thing that is very unique to the drow, right, is they have okay, so best way to put it, right, the word I was going to use is they have the most avatars. Hear me out. Lolth taking the form of an avatar, right, as the highest ranked matron mother in all of the drow society, right, is common. It happens regularly. It's not something that happens super rarely, whereas in many other... Granted, yes, I recognize we're talking primarily about Faerun, but that's where a lot of this information comes from. That avatar will exist. When that avatar dies, a new one is made. So they essentially have a living god that is among them regularly. Does she come out of hiding? Does she come out of her little spider hole a whole lot? No. But people go see her, and she will eat you if she doesn't like you, kind of thing.
That's sick.
The blesses the nobles. She blesses nobles. What about punishment? Punishments generally are just you get eaten or killed. That is ultimately what it comes down to. There is no level of, oh, well, you're in jail for 30 years. No, if you mess up, you die. Bam. You die. Driders, okay, so here's the thing. Driders. We're getting there. We're getting to the monsters. You guys are jumping ahead.
We're getting there.
You're getting ahead of me here. Driders. Okay, so there are two schools of thought on this one. All right? Okay. So, The Drider has been written as both a punishment and a blessing, because the more spider-like you are, the closer you are to Lolth, right? Which is a good thing for them. But in becoming a Drider, you slowly start to go insane, and after a while, you just kind of like become this raging monster thing that they generally have to shove out into the Underdark to go kill people that they find out there. So it's this weird sort of dichotomy almost, because like when a matron mother becomes like an avatar, becomes a Drider, right? She is revered. She is like, oh wow, she's like right there. She's one step away from Lolth, right? Whereas if a male becomes a Drider, right, it is seen as a punishment. It is seen as a, you are nothing more than a killing machine, and that is all we will ever use you for. Which is, it's neat. It's neat. That's and it's so weird cool. At the same time,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm learning so much.
It's cool. Like it's like, oh well, what's good for you is not necessarily good for the other one. Like that's bad. But
Drow, just a reflection of society.
Like we could literally do a whole show just on Drow, and we've spent. Of course, 40 did that. I mean, listen. Sometimes you gotta change it up a bit and mix it up a little, just a little bit, a little bit. Moving on from that, we could do literally a whole show about the.
So there's so much to do with Drow.
The Drow. If you have the time and the inclination, right? And I want to say you all laugh at me, but they're actually really good reads. If you can ever get your hands on, whether it be ebook, physical copies, what having, read The War of the Spider Queen. It's like 13 books long, but it is all about what it is like to be a Drow in the Underdark. It is 100% rival houses going to war with one another, how they conduct war with each other. The characters are neat. Everybody who lives in the spires all has the levitate spell because they refuse to put in stairs. So they just levitate up to the next, because they see stairs as like a weakness, right? Stairs are a weakness. So like they could get assaulted through stairs, right? But if there's no stairs, well, they've all got to know how to levitate. So that's how they get up from floor to floor to floor. It's neat. Yeah, it is a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. Don't hate. So you have that. Then you have my favorite race, right? My favorite guys, right? The Duergar. I love these dudes. The Dark Dwarves, the Dwarves of the Underdark. They are cool. They are 100% awesome. They're all evil. Every single one of them is evil. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that one, right? There isn't. But they are cool in the sense of they are essentially still dwarves. They are master craftsmen. They are amazing architects. They can forge anything from stone and steel. Like they're still very much Drow. They all come from the clan Duergar. And there is a long history, which I won't go into, which caused them to get exiled into the Underdark, because that's, again, a whole thing, right? That's a whole thing. But they are just cool. And the one thing that's really neat about them, that I personally love, because each race has its own little thing that it can do, right? They innately have the spell invisibility. And that is so cool to me. They innately can just go, I don't want to be seen. Bye. Bye. It's like 13 books long. The War of the Spider Queen, I want to say.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I don't know how much, but I know it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot. I know it took me 3 years, I think it was, to finish the entire series. I mean, granted, you got to figure I stopped. There were points where I stopped, and
life.
yeah, right.
There's life.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right. The Duragar are just yes. I envy their ability to just not be perceived at will. Yeah, they're just like, nah, I don't want to be seen. Invisible, and we're good. For those of you who have played Rime the Frostblade, the Duragar play a large factor in that particular game. It's quite cool. They're all crazy, but they're crazy in the sense of like megalomania kind of crazy. But aside from that, they're just awesome. They're cool. What can I say? They're still dwarves. They're still dwarves, even though they don't see the sun. That's what I like about them. They're just my creepy. They're my creepy distant cousins. All right. They only come around for reunions. They drink all the beer and then they leave.
One might argue it makes them more dwarven that they don't see the sun and they live in rock all the time.
You would be wrong. It's not that dwarves have Scottish accents. It's that Scots have poor dwarvish accents. That's how it goes.
Got him.
That's
dwarvish.
How it goes. That's how it goes, right? Yes. The Scots just have really poor dwarvish accents. You know, I mean, it happens. It does. Yeah. Okay, so we're rambling like man.
Hey, as we should. We got plenty of time to ramble.
We're rambling.
Scramble,
hang
ramble.
on, let's look at some of these guys. All right,
Oh yeah, you gotta pull up the pictures.
I did. I'm rambling, but I'm not. Hang on. Let me pull these down and these down and these down.
I'm so excited.
Where are they? There they are. Where is she? Close that.
Where is she? Where is Rachel?
You're right there.
I know.
So one of the things about Duragar, right, as their populace is old, they are still master forgers, they are master craftsmen, right? They do, much like dwarves of the world above, right? They are just that. They are master craftsmen. They can make all the best stuff, weapons, armor. They even actually have okay. All right. They have a degree of more advanced technology in a lot of cases than you will see in regular world above dwarves and whatnot, which I think is kind of neat. Because they're so brutal with one another and those out there, they have essentially Iron Man suits for their dwarven warriors. But the Iron Man suits are essentially plugged into their bodies so they can't ever leave them. Right? And it's slowly killing them while they're wearing it. But it is awesome because it's like got this pneumatic hammer and this giant hook claw thing or whatnot, right? But they're essentially running around in like +2 full plate mail everywhere that they go. But they're just insanely powerful and they just kill everything. Also, dwarves have overcome, Duragar rather, have overcome the short jokes that all dwarves seem to face on the regular basis, as they can cast Enlarge Self on themselves at will. So they can get real big when they want to. It's a once a day, but they can. Scary. Make too much of a short joke and they'll be taller than you before you know it. Mm-hmm. Yes, Duragar Hammerers. Yeah, they got real inventive with that name. Hammerers. Still love it.
It's fun.
But yes, they have big vibes with this guy because it's dwarves and I love dwarves.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, Rachel? I'm doing all this talking. You're just sitting there staring.
Svirfnevolent?
Oh God. Can you talk about the deep gnomes?
I can
talk about the deep gnomes. I need to drink some water.
Hey guys. So yeah, you've been going. You've been doing it. I'm very proud. I've enjoyed listening because I don't know as much about the Underdark as I did the Feywild, and my boy Kurt here's coming back. But I can talk about some Svirfneblin. I gotta be honest, I didn't learn how to pronounce that until very recently because I didn't know how to spell it. So I didn't, it always just got mixed up. It always ended in Neblin, but the beginning part of it was not it. Anyways, hey, Smurf Neblin. Favorite part about them is that the cities that they live in, incredibly hard to find. They are immensely well hidden and have traps upon layers of traps because they don't want to be messed with. They don't really want the outside to come in on their stuff because they're just doing their own thing. They're making a lot of good jewels. They like art. They're just some good little lads. Their society is interesting in that there are, how best to explain this? So they believe in equal labor. However, it is kind of sex segregated in that, for example, with like kings and queens, which they do have, which is interesting. The kings focus mostly on the oh my gosh, words are escaping me. Like the communities like mining and defenses and like operations in that sense, while the queen is tasked on making sure that there's like food and water for the community to survive, especially because they don't often go out. And that is kind of said within the families and communities as well, of the dudes are doing the outside work. They're called the masters of the outside, and the women are the masters of the inside. And that's something. Something else that I find really cool is that there's a very low, believe it or not, the Underdark's not a great place to have children. It's not a great place to raise children. No. So there's a pretty relatively low birth rate relative to the mortality rate. And that means that a lot of the families dote rather obsessively on their children and tend to try and have as many as possible. So that, you know, it's kind of the olden days type thing of you have a lot of kids because a lot of them are probably going to die. Which is awful.
But understandable.
But that's the way it goes. Once the kids like reach adolescence, they are quickly apprenticed to masters of skillful arts. Yep. So there's like mining and gem cutting and like artificing. They're all about that. They are also those that leave are pretty good guides and like scouts and foragers. Because obviously, once again, they don't like to leave, but they do need food and water in order to survive. And as much as they can try to have like those farms inside, it's once again very difficult because there's not a lot of sunlight, and a lot of the drow take up most of the, I'm going to pronounce this correctly, nope, I messed up. Fairsris. There it is. Drow take up most of that, so they have to go out in order to acquire things. But they're very good at it because they're small and they are stealthy. And as you explained before, everyone has that kind of natural camouflage because they need to in order to survive. Because if they don't, you get ate by whatever's out there, and there's a lot out there.
There is.
Yeah. They also can, I believe, cast invisibility.
They
similar
can.
To the Dwagar. Yeah.
They sure can.
I always say Dwagar, and I know it's not pronounced Dwagar, but I just like Dwagar. Yes, I think that's about what I got on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Smurf Neblin, everyone.
Okay. So, all right. So here's all right. moving forward.
Moving forward.
Why adventure there? Why play there?
Why wouldn't
Why?
you?
Why
Why
wouldn't you?
wouldn't
No.
you? Sorry,
So
but
okay,
continue.
so the long and short of it, right? The long and the short of it. The short of it is because it's kind of neat. The long of it comes down to a variety of things. Realistically, there is resources that are down in the Underdark that cannot be got anywhere else, ever. There are certain spell components. There are certain, in some cases, magical items that have resided in the Underdark and never left the Underdark. Another factor for playing a game in the Underdark is a lot of times it's not so much that your game is focused on the Underdark, it's that you go to the Underdark for something or someone. A very common way that the Underdark is introduced is that outside of the deep gnomes, right? Both the Duragar and the Drow are raiders. They will raid the surface world, right? Depending upon where you're at, right? They will raid the surface world. Sometimes they'll raid for prisoners, for enslavement purposes, for down there. Sometimes, in the case of like Duragar, they eat people, right? So like they could be up there
Straight up.
they could be up there looking for food. Or in the case of like Rime of the Frost Maiden, they're looking for a particular ore that is on the world above that doesn't happen down below, right? So there's a whole series of reasons why they can be there. I mean, a very interesting one, you could tell a Drit's tale if you really wanted to, right? Where you are, if, you know, you're a whole group of drow, as an example, and you collectively wish to leave the Underdark. You can have an entire campaign setting just in the we're trying to get out of the Underdark.
Which
Because
is very cool.
in the Underdark, there is a growing faction, a growing religion. So we're all aware of Lolth and how evil and scary she is,
Get her out.
right? But there's gotta be good drow. You're right. There are. And they follow. I am gonna butcher this name. I've never been able to say this
You
name,
got
right?
this. I have faith.
Elistery,
Just
E
in case, how do
I
you spell it?
Eilistraee.
Elistre?
Elistre? Is that how you say it? Long and short, she is a moon goddess, right? And it is essentially she is the good of the drow. She is the 100% like these are those who reject the ways of Lolth. This is the woman that they follow. And her whole thing is about bringing those from the Underdark into the light of the moon and bring them out from there, right? And that by only leaving the corruption of the Underdark will they kind of, for lack of a better term, find themselves.
Illustrae is what
Yeah,
is listed on Google.
there's yeah, yeah.
Illustrae.
But she is essentially the good drow goddess, and she is diametrically opposed to Lolth. There is a story that is believed that Lolth that all of the drow, right, at one point in time were the original night elves. They were originally just that. They were just night elves. They were elves or dark elves, right? And they lived on the world above.
This
Lolth
is the Sun
tricked them.
Elves.
Lolth tricked them and pulled them into the Underdark because spiders, they're night hunters. They don't like the daylight, right? And the drow as a whole were caught in Lolth's web and drug into the Underdark, right? And those who have been able to break free of the Underdark and return to the surface are met with her embrace. And so it is and some of them attempt to go back down to rescue others. Many don't because they know the perils that are there, right?
Scary.
But it's a that's where she kind of comes into play. And if you look and dig deep enough while you're in the Underdark, if you happen upon a scroll or you happen upon a half broken statue, you can find trinkets of hers still down in the cities of the Underdark, buried, held secret, held safe, right? Because if Lolth or her followers finds them, it's like, much like everything else, it's a death sentence. So you don't really mess with it too much. But there is a lot that you can do from that. Another thing for the Underdark that I personally love is it is a great way to travel. And we're going to talk about how it's traveling and how it works with the Sunless Sea.
Yeah, we're here, boys. We've done it.
In the Underdark, you have what is called the Sunless Sea, right? Which is it's not always given dimensions, right? But it is said that it is a massive ocean that is in the Underdark, right? That you can sail on in, not like you would conventional sailing, but you can sail on this massive underground sea and get around Faerun. Now, what we would normally consider trying to get across land would take forever. But basically, the Sunless Sea is described as a way of moving about the world, right? With the speed of water, but across land. So one thing that is common to do is like they'll take a barge, right? And they could take the barge all the way down to the very tippy end of an area, right? And then back up as if they were sailing across water versus trying to cross the terrain of regular mountains and hills and, forests and stuff like that or whatnot. It comes with its own perils, but it is the sea. It is this vast sea. Now, I personally think it's a freshwater. I have always treated it in the same way of like the Great Lakes. If all the Great Lakes were together, kind of thing, that's what the sea would be, as this freshwater, this underground freshwater ocean. But I mean, you can play it however you want. But that's honestly my big thing that I like to use the Underdark for. Also, the Underdark has just you can find yourself in the Underdark and not know it. A wrong turn in a dungeon, a trap you didn't see, and you fall and fall and fall, and then you land and you're in a cave somewhere and you don't know where you're at. If you decide to brave the yawning pool and you take the wrong turn down a wrong cave, and next thing you know, you're there. Or you're out adventuring and you happen to you're like, you know what, we should check out this cave. This is where we're going to spend the night. We might want to make sure there's no bears or no anything like that inside. And you go to explore the cave some more. And the next thing you know, wow, there's a lot of glowing fungus here. There's a lot of this, what's that sound down there, and before you know it, you're in the Underdark.
Shadows.
You're in the shadows. So yeah, a lot of the Underdark, in my opinion, if you're going to be running a game that's going to incorporate the Underdark, I would say that it is a game where it is a part of it, but it's not the focus of it. Unless you're a monster hunter. Because if you're a monster hunter and that's your game, then the Underdark is ripe.
Perfect.
Ripe with monsters. Everything, like, depending upon what you play, right? I use was it Hammond's book. I'm gonna pull this thing up.
I got nothing.
I'm gonna pull this thing up and it's
Do it.
gonna. There we go. There it is.
Yeah, I love the idea of the all-drow game of just all
an all-drow game,
trying
right?
to escape.
Doesn't it sound fun?
Like, that's so cool. I'd be so down for that.
Okay, here we go. It's all about time. It is called Hammond's. No, where is it at?
Hammond's?
No.
Hammon?
Yeah. Hamund. Hammond's Guides. There's 3
Not
volumes of it. You can get it on Drive-Thru RPG. The whole thing about it is
Hammond's Harvesting?
Hammond's Harvesting, yep. So the whole thing about it is it's all about if you decide to use these rules, right? And that is harvesting what you kill. And down in the Underdark, there are some things that have very tough skin that make really great armor. So you could essentially go down there almost item hunting, depending upon how you wanted to work it, right? And find, an Umber Hulk, as example. You kill the Umber Hulk, and then you take its chitinous plate, and it essentially becomes +1 plate armor.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Bullets. Or how do you... No, it's not bullets. I know that's not how you say it. That's how I always want to say it, though. Bullets. Isn't it? Bullets?
Bullets?
Bullets.
Yeah, there you go.
Bullets.
I was right. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, cool. Harvesting is such a cool mechanic in my opinion.
It is an amazing mechanic.
You should let any of your dudes kill something and harvest from it if they want.
Right? But as a DM, what are some considerations that you need to make when you're going to run a game down there, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is one thing to always keep in mind when traveling around in the Underdark. Unless you're near a campfire of some kind, right? Once you reach a certain depth, everything is the same temperature. Yeah. I think it's what is it, like if you get like 10 feet underground, everything sits at like a constant 45 or something like that.
It's chilly, yeah. I don't know
cold.
If you guys... Have you ever like gone cave
dwelling? No. I saw the movie The Descent once, and I'm never going in a cave, so
I haven't done that, but I have gone in caves before, and it is very chilly. Spelunking is some spooky stuff, and I do love how that is... Oh no, the word.
Okay, I got the Spider Queen series. Okay, real quick, if you got the Spider Queen series, how many books long is it? I don't remember. I don't own the books anymore, so I don't remember how many books it actually was. But I know it's a hefty number.
It's a good solid number.
Don't fail us, Sam. Give us the number.
Give us. We're just waiting in anticipation.
6? No, it's more than 6.
That's still quite a bit, I would say. It's not 13.
No.
What is it? The War of the Spider Queen?
Yeah, the Dark Elf series, the War of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, disillusion, insurrection, condemnation, execution, extinction. I can read annihilation and resurrection.
Man, that book felt way longer than that.
How many pages is it?
Let's see here.
I don't know if it says.
Hang on.
Oh, there it is. While you're getting us the details, something that we haven't yet really brought up that I find very fun in a lot of the like realms and places within D&D is that the Underdark has just as a diverse ecosystem as the world above, because you have
I'm crazy.
You have these like huge expansive caverns and these massive underground oceans, but then you can go to another area and there's these underground magma rivers, and then you go to another area and there's lush, almost like tropical areas of moss. Not necessarily, it doesn't feel tropical, it's very cold, but there's lush moss and fungus and other plant life that are the size of like skyscrapers, not that tall, of course, because it's caverns and there is a ceiling. But I like how diverse you can make the Underdark, other than it's just cold rocks everywhere, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the thing too that I actually, um, I don't know how it is for Greyhawk. I honestly don't. I can't say how it is for Greyhawk. But one of the things that I've always really liked about Faerun, as far as access to the Underdark, is like Gauntlgrim, right? You can find yourself in the Underdark without intending to find yourself in the Underdark, right? Some of these ruins, some of these cities go so deep underground before you realize it, you're in the Underdark and you can't find your way out. I don't doubt that I actually don't even think in Greyhawk. I don't think they're actually called Drow in Greyhawk. They're just dark elves, aren't they?
Really? I have no idea.
I could be wrong on that one, and there's enough Greyhawk folks in here. They'll tell me. No joke. Um, uh, they are still referred to as Drow in the Flaness. Flaness. Interesting. Cool. Dark elf or drow. Okay, cool. All right then.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's one of the things that I do love about the Underdark is that it's just you can get there and not realize that you're there, right?
Yes.
Which is until it's too late. Ultimately, until it's too late, and that's always
then you're
fun.
stuck down there forever.
And then you're stuck, and it's great
until you die. Yay! The end.
Okay. D3 Vault of the Drow is the reference.
Thomas brought up the. Thank you for the sub, Razzlekel.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go get that. As a matter of fact, D3 Vault of the Drow is the reference.
Thomas brought up the hanging city of Doldlund because I brought up the magma rivers and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I do know it is, as per the name, city that's comprised of like a lot of stone platforms that were made by Svirfneblin.
Yep.
That is above a river of lava, and there is also a big dragon. It's a big dragon.
He's a big boy.
Themberchad? I kind of want to call him Themberchad because that just feels funny to me.
You've seen him.
I've seen him?
Yeah. Wasn't that the one in the D&D movie?
I gotta be real with you, Kurt. I'm not a real D&D fan. I haven't seen it. How dare I? I know.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's the big dragon in there. He's a chunky boy.
Don't do this to me, Thomas.
He's a chunky boy.
I couldn't at the time. Okay. I also agree that it must be remedied. I really do want to see it. I've seen clips. It seems really good. That's fine.
And yeah.
He's big chunk.
He big chunky boy.
Big chunky boy.
Yes. He's setting it up. October 28th.
October 28th? Here, let me check my calendar.
In the wrong place.
The answer is yes.
Ed Greenwood. Oh,
October 28th.
Okay, cool.
We are both free. I know that for a fact.
How do you both know you're free?
Because we're going to a cabin.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Yep.
Okay, so what else do we have to discuss for the Underdark? Why play there? Because it's fun. It's neat. It's interesting.
Thomas, of course, as friends. I don't know if you have to specify that. You have a wife, and she's wonderful, and I love her.
What else? Okay. Things to consider when going into the Underdark. They're cities, yes. They're cities. Things to consider when going into the Underdark. It's essentially like... Oh, I can't believe I'm about to say this. For those of you who are watching Dark Sun is very similar to the Underdark in that you have these cities, and then you have giant swaths of nothing but danger and deadly between the cities, right? Caravans between the cities are very important. That's a big thing. So that is one thing that is very, very interesting about the Underdark, is that you have these giant swaths of area, yes, where it's just like no man's land. You don't want to be out there if you can help it. Strength in numbers, because you have all sorts of things that can come out and snatch you and eat you. Or this is another great time when, if you're a drow, to send out your troops to make an attack against another house, because if it's outside the walls, it doesn't count. So entire wars amongst drow houses will be fought outside of the walls, right? The Duragar are hungry, right? Or they want something that the drow have. This is where they would launch their attacks and not have to worry about, full-on reprisals, I guess.
That's just so cool to think about, of how much within the politics of like Drow and obviously the other societies of trying to either make it known what you're doing so that you hope to bait people out to attack you and then attacking them, or try to keep it as secret as possible in order to avoid that.
Yeah. And another thing cool that's we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. Also, why do you want to go down? We're just gonna address the elephant in the room. Why do you want to go into the Underdark? So you can kill a mind flayer. That's right. That's why you want to go down there. Get him. You want to go kill some mind flayers, and mind flayers are down in the Underdark. Now, granted, yes, mind flayers are everywhere, right? As Baldur's Gate 3 has taught us. But mind flayers are known to be down in the Underdark. Both the Drow and the Duragar. I'm not sure about the Deep Gnomes. But both the Drow and the Duragar use them as advisors, because they are powerful magic users, powerful psionics. They will use them as advisors and pay them whatever coin or brain matter it is that they seek. No, tabletop. You do not romance Tentacle Face. No.
No judgment.
No. Right. That is the only thing that I will judge you on. I will not judge you for anything else in this life.
Whoops.
You romance the Mind Flayer?
Look, Thomas.
Bruh, we need to schedule an intervention.
I'm pretty sure flirted with everyone.
He was hot.
He was not.
Let us play.
Us talking about mind flayers makes me kind of want to talk about something else that I did some research on, and one of my favorite races, which is the Kuatoa, which is the reverse mermaid. Instead of the fish waist down and human body up, it's fish body up and person leg down.
That is nightmare fuel.
It is. Kuatoas used to be the slaves of the mind flayers, and they went crazy because of it. And they got very they went super insane, and due to the psychic energy that the mind flayers used to control them, believed in made up gods so much in order to protect themselves from these mind flayers that they literally became real. Because of the psychic energy that was instilled in their head, they became real.
Wait a minute. Wait. Fish upper torso, human lower torso, essentially, right?
Yes.
Are you saying the mind flayers essentially enslaved Bikini Bottom? Yeah, no, it gives a whole different context now, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Just checking on that. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah, this is why they're my favorite.
Oh my god! Actually, no. Hang on. Wait a minute. If we're gonna talk about monsters, we're gonna talk about Rachel's monster. Her absolute nightmare fuel.
Oh my god.
Her absolute nightmare fuel. These things are just no. I thought this was the thing from Spelljammer, but it's not. It's in the Underdark. It's
from the Underdark.
And I don't like that.
Absolutely terrifying. Like, you don't want to go up against that face. But you won't just be going up against one of them, because they travel in packs. You will be going up against many of them. And not only will you be going up against many of them, but adult Kruthiks are immensely strong. They have a natural armor of 18. They have a speed of 40. They have dark vision and tremor sense of 60 feet. They have keen smell. They have pack tactics because they travel in packs. They can burrow. They can tunnel. And they have 4 attacks.
Okay, Cameron. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Cameron, did she just say friend-shaped?
Cameron, right? Let me guess. You would try to pet the xenomorph, wouldn't you? You would.
No.
You'd pet the alien from Aliens, wouldn't you? You 100% would. No, not friend. Not friend.
Cameron, no. Do we have to have a talk on
no,
what
you
the definition
can't romance
of friend
it.
is?
No.
You want to romance?
I'm concerned. I am legitimately concerned about the TOA
friends.
crew. What's
I'm worried about
the TOA crew is just going off. What is this? What? I don't. No, you will not give the xenomorph a little smooch.
It'll give you a little bite, and then you're dead. And by little, I mean a big bite. You guys are crazy.
Well, no, they're
Matt chatters for a reason. Matt chatters for
something.
A reason.
Y'all just, oh my lord.
Y'all
need Jesus.
No. I see a TPK on Sunday.
Right? Oh man. Okay, so
now
that we've seen
Nightmare Fuel.
Nightmare Fuel. Yeah, we've seen Nightmare Fuel. All right, and
also they have like tons of babies. They have like tons of little eggs everywhere. You don't want to find a Kruthic nest. It's bad. They're really bad. They don't mess with them. Don't look at them. Pretend they don't exist, and hopefully they won't. Terrifying. Continue.
You know, Demon Gun, I'm convinced I would rather deal with beholders than these things.
I agree. They have tactics, guys. That's not cool.
Yep.
They're not cool.
Yep.
I'm scared.
But more importantly, I think, I mean, we talk. Hang on, let's see. Make sure I get this right. Okay, so let's talk about.
That's my cat.
One of my absolute favorite monsters of the Underdark. And favorite. No, I don't want to see your cat. Why would I want to see your cat?
No, I said, did you hear my cat?
Oh.
She was being very mouthy.
There we go. Oh.
Thank you.
You what?
Ren.
Rachel, see it to John.
I got you. I'll definitely let him know. Marking it.
One of my favorite.
Is this for Sunday for the yeah. For the TPK.
The Hook Horror.
Oh no.
The Hook Horror. I love these guys. This is
everything
friend material.
Is a horror.
This is friend material. This deserves pets. Just saying. The giant murder chickens. That's right. This thing. So, so for those of you tuning in at home, right? A Hook Horror, right, is, well, scary. I mean, you've got to figure 18 strength. I mean, 15 con. It has blind sight. It doesn't need eyes to see you. It has dark vision. It has echolocation. It has echolocation. So it squawks at you in the tunnels, and it will find you that way. Like a friggin' bat. It's not an owlbear plus. It's better than an owlbear.
That's why it's a plus.
They have keen hearing, multi-attack. Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. Those sweet little lovable hooks that you see there, right? Average. Average 12 damage per swipe. This is challenge rating 3, right? Now, granted, we all know the challenge rating system is broken, but
It's way
it's
messed up.
broken. But still, just to give you an idea that they thought that this thing would be good to go against, like third level characters. It's great.
Oh.
Yep. But on the flip side, you can domesticate them. And see, now everybody loves a hook horror. Everybody loves a hook horror now because you can domesticate them.
Why sweet little guy? I'd name him Charles. Look at that face.
Right? You can.
See friendship.
See friendship. Because you can domesticate them. That's right. That's right. You can domesticate them. So that's a friend you can come across in the Underdark if it doesn't kill you first.
Which,
I mean,
my 12 damage average is nothing to scoff at.
Yes, there are things you can't domesticate in D&D. We're going to bring up one of the things you can't domesticate in D&D, which are in the Underdark, and are, again, one of my favorite monsters of all time, not just in the Underdark, but the Purple Worm. That's right. The Purple Worm. Look how small they are.
Oh my god, they're just little guys.
Just little guys compared to the giant gaping maw. One of them's trying to be Muad'Dib, and it's not working. You see him over there. He's like, "Look at that! Look at me in the weirding way." And the Purple Worm's like, "No, no. They're not domesticatable. That's just not. This is not friend shaped."
Nah, he seemed dude.
No. Just table. No. That person. Oh my god. Y'all.
I like how we're all just doting on any monster.
Any monster that I am showing.
These things are scary, you guys.
That's great. Alaskan bullworm. Yeah, it's like an Alaskan bullworm. 100%.
Precisely.
Yep. Oh my goodness. We're supposed to be being professionals here, friends, and we're just it's just
Since
out the window.
Kurt? Since when?
I thought it was.
We can pretend. It's fun.
We can pretend.
We'll dress up as professional for Halloween.
You know what? Okay, so you know what? Outside of friend-shaped monsters, all right, because you guys are convinced they're all friend-shaped. All right, you know what? We've got about 15 minutes left before we need to go raid into Jay, and he'll take all the seriousness from us, I think.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. We've gone off the rails several times.
Did you say all you wanted about purple worms?
No, because they're friend-shaped. Nobody wants to be afraid of them, and so I'm gonna have to sit down.
No, now you gotta convince them to be afraid of them. I want to be convinced to be afraid of them.
Look at the teeth.
Yeah, tell me about what the teeth can do.
You want to know what you got? You want to know what a purple worm can do? Fine, I'll tell you what a purple worm can do. All right.
I also want to talk about the Nothics after.
Here we go. Purple worm stat block.
Terrifying. I'm already scared.
You should be.
I've faced one in a game, and it ate my dead character's body.
Armor class of 18.
Hate it.
All right. It's a tunneler. It can burrow through solid rock at half its burrow speed and leaves a 10-foot diameter tunnel in its wake. Its bite does a base of 22 hit points of damage, and if you don't succeed on a DC 19 dexterity saving throw, you are consumed and die immediately. No saving throws. It has a tail stinger, which has a base damage of 19. Oh, both of these attacks are at a +9 to hit. And if you fail a DC 19 con saving throw, you take an additional 12d6 poison damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Once you're inside the purple worm, you have to make a DC 21 Constitution saving throw, or you're digested. So you have to make a dex save not to get swallowed. Then you got to make a con save not to get digested.
Which means you instantly die.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and it's got multi-attack.
So it can swallow multiple people? In one round?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure can. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling a little less friend-shaped here.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little less
friend-shaped. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's only if you manage to knock down its 15d20 plus 90 hit points. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's got a base strength of 28. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, you do you. Friend-shaped.
Hey, I'm sure it's got good.
Nah, let's go pet it.
He's hard to get.
That makes the friendship better, more spicy, more challenging.
Oh, we can't win. We can't win, Kurt.
No. Who are you to define my friends? Okay, you know what? Touche. You are not wrong at all, Thomas. Not in the slightest. You are right. Okay, friends, you got 10 minutes. What are your questions? And don't make them. Can I pet it? And can I friend it? What are your questions about the Underdark?
Well, you guys are typing those questions.
The more it needs to be petted.
I'm gonna talk about the Nothics, which are aberrations, which are also on the lower level of the Underdark.
The Nothics.
The Nothics. They got one eye. They're looking with that one eye. It's real big. It's real green. And they know Undercommon, but they also are kind of a little bit insane. Are there magic shops? Oh, I'm sure that there are. I'm sure that there are some really fun magic shops. Like I said previously, the Drow are kind of harnessing the Fair's Wrist in order to craft items out of it.
They do.
And I'm sure that can get funky and real fun.
Because magic flows so freely in the Underdark, kind of like the Feywild, magic is very powerful in the Underdark, just like it is in the Fey. It's an optional rule, but narratively speaking, magic flows very freely in the Underdark.
When a god bleeds all over the walls, that's a lot of magic.
Or a purple worm bores tunnels and poops everywhere.
It's a lot of magic. That's just magical.
A lot of magic.
Magical life. But yeah, Nothics have multi-attack. They also have a thing called rotting gaze, which it can look at something within 30 feet of it, has to make a Constitution saving throw, and if it fails, it takes 3d6 necrotic damage, which isn't a ton. But it also has weird insight, which a Nothic can target one creature that it can see within 30 feet, and it has to make a contested charisma deception check against the Nothic's wisdom insight. Now, let me tell you, its wisdom is +0. But if the Nothic wins, it can magically learn one fact or secret about you. I don't know if you want... It can magically learn one fact or secret about the target. Which is weird. That's strange. You don't want these little gibbering guys to know something about you? What about oozes? What about oozes? Are you questioning whether they exist in the Underdark?
Ropers are also a thing.
Well, no, I'm just asking if that was your question. Because the answer is yes, there are oozes and slimes in the Underdark. I think one of them that I saw when I was doing the look on Turog is that there's a thing called a blood ooze, which is made out of Turog's blood. And
mushroom
it's
people?
Scary.
But my favorite ooze is Ronald, my dungeon Roomba.
Ronald.
He's my favorite ooze. He's a gelatinous cube,
He's
right?
the little guy.
He's just a little guy. He's my dungeon Roomba. He
He's the
just
little guy.
picks up the leftovers. We're good to go.
Woo.
And he is friend-shaped.
You love little friend-shaped little guys. I will let you know, blood oozes are not friend-shaped. They will absolutely murder you.
Oh, yes,
they're literally
very much
made
so.
of the blood of a god, and it crawls places and has ability names like Fetid Caress and Blood Infiltration. And those don't sound like fun.
You know what's one thing that we didn't talk about that we're supposed to talk about every time?
What are we not talking about that we didn't talk
about? The dragon of the realm.
The deep dragon.
The deep dragon. That's right. The Underdark has its own dragon.
Yeah.
Its own dragon. And what makes this dragon so interesting? We're not going to talk about its 14 D12 plus 56 hit points. We're not going to talk about its multi-attack. We're not going to talk about the fact that it can change shape. We're not going to talk about its 3 legendary actions, which include commanding spores and spore salvos. We're going to talk about its breath weapon.
Yeah.
Nightmare breath. Nightmare breath. The dragon exhales a cloud of spores in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC 16 wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 6d10 psychic damage and is frightened of the dragon for 1 minute. That's 10 rounds. And on a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage with no additional effects. A frightened creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each turn, ending the effect on a successful save.
60 foot cone? And that puppy recharges? With 60-10?
Yep, recharges on 5 to 6. Yep. It can also change into a medium or small creature, but retain all of its powers.
Interesting.
Yep, its Spore Salvo, its legendary action, releases poisonous spears around the creature within 30 feet. Within 30 feet of it that it can see. The target must succeed on a DC 16 Constitution saving throw, or take 5d6 poison damage and become poisoned for 1 minute or 10 rounds, taking an additional d4 poison damage each round. Yep. Yeah. That's
spooky.
He's a spicy
a little
guy.
Scary. Yeah,
he's a little spicy guy.
A little spicy. Yes, Jay is alive. And I will just quickly comment on, yes, the Myconids. They live in a place called Neverlight Grove, which is a fungal oasis, and there's just hundreds of little mushroom guys and gals, Myconids. There's probably not gender there, so just Myconid peeps working in unison in a peaceful little hive mind. Unlike what BG3 has taught you, in at least the Faerun, there is a colony that has 2 sovereigns, because one of them got destroyed and had to flee their original place, and the other sovereign was like, yeah, you can come on in, we can work together. And so they do. And it's just a nice little sweet peaceful hive mind area. And it's really pretty. The very big fungus is everywhere. Lots of mushrooms. It's very nice. So you should go there.
No. So to bring it all back around, as our unsupervised, unrestrained flow of consciousness. Wait, what was it? So so you're saying we can slap a saddle on it and offer dragon rides? Yes, I wouldn't recommend it.
If everything we've said about nightmare dragons or deep dragons leads you to believe that you can do that, I am not going to stop you.
No, not at all.
I will not stop you. I would love to see it happen.
So, yeah, there's room for a saddle. So we've given you a look into the Underdark. Though the Underdark is a rather grim and perilous kind of place, we kind of made a little bit of levity brought to the Underdark and the various things that are there. But no doubt, it is a very dangerous place to go. Why should you go there? Because there's a lot of neat stuff down there. Why would you want to put it in your adventure? Well, again, there's a lot of neat stuff down there. And you can tell a lot of really interesting stories out of there. How would you introduce it into your campaign? There are lots of ways. My personal favorite is you made a wrong turn in a dungeon. That's my personal favorite one. But past that, as we bring this LMA to a close, any parting thoughts, Rachel?
It's been a pleasure, you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out while we talk about the Underdark. Thank you, Kurt, for being able to know so much about it. Because I knew some. I came prepared, not as prepared. It was lovely. I got to learn a lot of really fun stuff, as I'm sure that you all also got to learn a lot fun stuff about it. So thanks for being here and chat. Mm-hmm. You guys are great.
Mm-hmm. As we close out tonight, I want to thank everybody as well for sticking with us. And our weird shenanigans that we have. I would like to give a special shout out to the Mad Chatters and our fellow TOA crew for keeping us on our toes and making everything friend-shaped. Despite our best efforts, you know, if it exists, Cameron's going to pet it, and Thomas is going to take it home and name it Spot. So there is that. Thank you all again. Next week for LMA, we have Catchy Cantrips. Rachel is bringing on her friends from over there at Catchy Cantrips.
See them raiding. If you've been here for a while, they've been raiding in all the time.
Yep.
And checked out their streams. They're really cool. I'm excited to have them talk about it. They also are working on a sort of Discord system for their server, and we're going to be talking about that too. They're very cool. It's Ash and David. You should definitely check them out, and if you don't, you should definitely come on Wednesday and let them convince you to check them out.
Yep. We have Friday Night Crusades happening this week, I do believe, inside the Discord server. For those of you who want to know what is going on with basically the staff of of Blue Box, it's Vassin, and normally we play on Thursdays, but we're playing on Friday this week because Friday the 13th and Spooky. Past that, we have, if I'm reading the schedule right, we still have Tears of Arid happening this Sunday.
You bet your buns we do, and we're probably going to TPK. Thanks, Red.
I mean, it's all good. You know, I mean, it brings character growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe there is also Fall of Red Dawn this Sunday. I believe. Amanda will correct me and slap me or tell me I'm bad if I'm wrong.
True.
So make sure to tune in for the.
There was any this Sunday.
Yeah, there wasn't anyone this Sunday. So tune in for that double header. But we are fixing to raid in. Amanda, if you would be so kind as to set us up for that raid, I would greatly appreciate it.
If you're watching,
Biggie confirms. Oh shit, she's gonna ask the questions.
And you aren't followed, you should totally do it because it's a little heart and it's a fun little button that you can press, and then we'll get really happy and thank you. And if you're following and you haven't subbed, it's real Amazon Prime. You just gotta renew it every month, and why not support your favorite people on Twitch, the Blue Boxers and the Mad Chatters? But then if you already have subscribed and
Sacre bleu!
Don't tell me. It's lapsed. Thank you to Top Horde for subscribing with Prime.
Thanks, V.
We have one question for you.
What are you doing? Give us a follow, give us a sub, hang out with us, click that notifications button so you know every time that we go live and we do things. And we promise you, the next time we're live, you'll see John. We know that's who you're really here for. We're aware of that. We know.
He'll be here.
But he's working his butt off. So he is. That man is working his butt off. So that being said, friends, stick around with us. Get your raid emotes ready to go as we raid into Jay. Thank you all once again for tuning in with us, and we will catch you all next time, friends. Okay? Be good to yourselves. Be nice to one
Have
another.
fun. Have
And
a good night.
don't
Have a good
be.
week. We'll see
Yeah.
you soon. Bye.
Bye!
Biggie has requested we hop into the Discord to see what it is he has set up. The surprise.